What's up, guys? Alright, so let's talk about my old car. I used to have a Mustang. It was a Mustang GT. It was supposedly some special code, the GT40 edition of the Mustang 1994. It was like a year before they ended the 302 pushrod engines in Mustangs. So I figured I'd show you some pictures. I found some digital pictures, and I thought I'd present them to you guys and let you know a little bit of what my car is about, since a lot of you guys sold it because I lost my job around that time, and I figured it'd be easier just to sell a material thing. But you know, you sell things and you realize, wow, that was a lot of fun, but whatever. So anyway, so what did I have done on it? Well, pretty much everything except the transmission, the pistons, and the block was done to it. The axles, the sway bars, the suspension, chassis, springs, part of the suspension, the push rods, the lifters, the valve spring, the heads, the ignition system, everything was pretty much done with it. My favorite thing that I like about that, like those cars, those Mustangs, is lowering them. And I don't like, when you buy a car, any kind of like sports-ish car, sporty car, I hate when they have the damn thing so high off the ground. It's like, I'm buying a sporty car. Why don't you just like put it real close to the tires? Anyway, I drove this in some SCCA races or competition, whatever, a few times. I would take it to a lot of you know, different events and stuff, and drive it around a good bit. And but anyway, so the one thing I did to it, which you can see on some of these pictures compared to others, is I put different rims on, which were bigger in the back, which allowed me to put a wider tire in the back, which helped with traction. I had 410 gears in it, and aluminum drive shaft. I had a whole new housing in the back, and like I said earlier, I think I said I had different axles. They were designed by Strange Engineering. The sway bars, the upper and lower control arms were Kenny Brown Competition Series. So the suspension was pretty loud because it had polyurethane bushing. Was it polyurethane or was it spherical? I'm trying to think which ones it was, but whatever it was a lot louder because the control arms from stock on Mustangs and most cars are just like a rubber compound, whereas this was either like spherical, some kind of spherical, or like polyurethane. The axle housing, I actually had the original bushings taken out of that, and they actually had to be like burnt out of it, and then I had Kenny Brown polyurethane ones put back in. So I mean, the whole thing was really tight. I mean, you get on the throttle, the response was real good because of the suspension. I think the suspension is overlooked a lot of times with things with certain people. It's like, oh, I'll put all this power in it, and then they forget to put in some kind of, you know, more chassis support, and all of a sudden it twists and shit. And, you know, so I like the suspension part of it a lot. But it was probably around 400 horsepower. It was fast. I originally had 355 gears, we took it to 410s, and what else? Let me think here. Did a lot to the engine. The interior was pretty stock. The only thing I had in there was different was a tachometer, and what was that made by? Autometer. I forget. Seriously, it's been a while. to 60 was because I borrowed someone's, one of those things you put in your car and you get like times in, where you can like time your 40 or a dash. What the hell am I talking about? You can time your 60, your 0 to 60, and it uses like aerospace technology to time you or whatever. And I did that, and I would constantly get around like 5 seconds or like 4.9 seconds on 0 to 60. Or I think the fastest was 4.8. But I was running like high 11s, low 12, somewhere around there at the strip. Something like that. Like I said, this is a long time ago. This is when I was really, I haven't even had this car in 6 years. It's been 6 years. So, what else was done with it? Let me think here. I took some stuff out, like the headlamps, put new ones in to make it look different. You know, the usual little shit like the K&N air filter. There was a different throttle body on there. Different fuel injectors. They were bigger fuel. The 20, if my memory serves me right, I think I had 24-pound fuel injectors in there. They were the blue, color-coded ones for Ford. And different distributor. It was an MSD distributor. Timing was pushed ahead a little bit to make it a little bit, you know, more snappy with the response. Had a different coil. Spark plugs were like those really expensive iridium ones, I think they were. I don't know. All I know is the mechanic that worked on it said that it was one of the quickest responding fuel injected vehicles he's ever driven. He was a big carburetor guy, and he said it was one of the snappiest fuel injected cars he's ever driven. I mean, it just went, and it was something I put a ton of money into, and then unfortunately I just needed to sell it for some dough. So that's how that went. Honestly, the amount I sold it for is probably the amount I put into it in regards to money. But that's how it always goes, isn't it? But yeah, so that's that story. Thought I'd tell you guys a little bit about that, and show you a little bit about it, tell you a little bit about it. So that's that. If you guys got any questions or anything, you guys got Mustangs, you got questions, the exhaust system was all different too. I had MAC, M-A-C. I actually had 3 different exhaust systems depending on what I was trying to do. I had a MAC exhaust system. I had Stinger, which were like open. You could actually, this is really cool. You could take this exhaust and take the tailpipes off all the way back to the muffler, which was pretty much in the middle of the car. And then if you wanted to, they had these wing nuts on the other side of the muffler, and you could take this plate off and you could run these mufflers like straight, which is ridiculous. It was seriously ridiculous. But what other one did I have? I had another one. It might have been Flowmaster, something like that. But yeah, the exhaust was different too. I mean, I put a different shifter in it. It had a short shifter in it with stops on it, so you didn't go beyond and bend any of the transmission forks, I think they're called. So it had stops on it. It was a Pro 5.0 shifter, and I found that for me, the transmission, the manual transmission, there's a handle, there's the shifter, and then there's like a rod. I forget what it's called. There's really no technical term. It's just the rod between the shifter and what the handle goes on. There's 2 different parts. I found my best setup was, and I went on eBay and bought this separately, the Hurst shifter rod from the shifter that you hold on to. I changed that out on the Pro 50 shifter, which I like that shifter better, but I like the handle length and the way it contoured to my hand. So I put a Hurst rod on, and then I think I put a Hurst ball shifter handle on. And that worked better for me than what some of the other handles were, or handle rods, or whatever they're called. Different intake manifold. Like I said, I had the GT40 package. So, yep, there's that. I've talked long enough. Bored the shit out of people probably. But I've told a bunch of people about, I used to have a Mustang, so I figured I'd show you guys. So, like I said, you got any questions, let me know. I know a good bit about those Mustangs and the 302 Mustangs and everything. I'm not a mechanic or anything, but if you guys got any questions or anything about some parts, because I researched a lot of parts before I bought them, and the majority of the parts I researched were turned out really good. So, you got any questions, let me know. Until next time, later.